Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you from my end, and good morning and good evening wherever you're joining from. We are so excited to be hosting another episode of our event today. And today we have really very special guests. We'll be discussing everything about mindset and how you can go from stuck to unstuck and how you can soar, right? I'm really excited about this conversation. So as usual, I'll be looking at the chat. I always want to see who is the first person that comes into the, comes in through LinkedIn, even though I know there is a bit of a lag time between the streaming platform and LinkedIn. But I'm always excited to see that first person that shows up before I keep going on and on. I want to make sure we have an audience. So it's really exciting. Augusta, you're looking very beautiful. You look so regal.
Thank you.
So cute. I like your dress and your
Thank
hair.
you.
And it's so pretty. So let's have how are you, Augusta? How are you doing?
I'm
Well,
fine. How are you, Amaka? Dr. Amaka.
I'm well too. I'm doing really all right. Yes, I'm just kind of taking a look at the chat to see, just to be sure that people can hear us and people are here, and then we can get started in a minute. So today we are talking about mindset, and we have like special guests. We have Coach Uwem that is joining us, and then he's bringing with him his right hand man, as he told us. So they'll be joining us in a minute, but before then, we'll be introducing to see how things are going. So I want to make sure that you people can hear us from LinkedIn. Can people hear us? Because I cannot see any chat. Oh, okay. Chiamaka, oh wow, that's my namesake. You see, what a coincidence. Chiamaka, thank you for coming in and thank you for letting me know because I was going to go over to check. Most of the time, I don't want to go on and on until I'm sure that I'm converting through. Thank you, Chiamaka. Can you tell me where you are joining from? Dr. Phil is also here. I know where Dr. Phil is joining from, but could you tell us where you're joining from? Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this conversation today. Before we get started, I'm just going to introduce myself briefly for the people who do not know me. Yeah, Dr. Phil, say you hear us loud and clear. Yes, thank you very much. And then Felicia is also here. Felicia says, yes, I can hear from my end. Can you tell me where you're joining from? Oh, now I see all my people. I'm wondering, where were you guys? Amara is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Then we have a LinkedIn user. LinkedIn user, I'm not sure. LinkedIn user says he or she is from UK. Maybe tell me your name. I don't know why I cannot see your name.
LinkedIn user is Ade Salao.
Oh, okay, nice, nice, nice. Okay, thank you for coming. Chiamaka is joining from Benue, Nigeria. Okay, so you say you're hearing us loud and clear. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me know. Immaculate says, good evening. Immaculate, where are you joining from? That's good to know. Dr. Phil says he's joining from Jos, Nigeria. I really miss Jos. Wow, I've not been in Jos in several years. To just think that you grow up somewhere and suddenly it becomes like a memory in your mind. Thank you, Dr. Phil, for being here. And then we have An Aneto. I hope that's how you say your name. I'm sorry if I'm not saying it right. He says he's joining from Nigeria. Where in Nigeria, though? Thank you for letting me know. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name right. Felicia says she's joining from Ibadan. Okay. And then Immaculate says she's joining from Aba. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for coming in to join our conversation today. Annie, I know Annie is joining from the UK. So I'm here to enjoy. Thank goodness the chat feed is working for me today. Dr. Amaka and Dr. Augusta. Annie, it's so exciting to have you here. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Adesa Lu from the UK, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. So I was going to introduce myself so that we can just get started. You know, we are always very conscious of our time. We want to be here and have this conversation and be over with it in 1 hour, 30 minutes. That's usually like our target. We want to kind of have all the conversation, answer all the questions, have all the fun in 1 hour, 30 minutes so that everybody can go back to their busy lives. Because we know that people are busy, right? So we always respect your time. Thank you for coming to spend your evening with us. Adesola says from Lagos, Nigeria. We have someone from the Netherlands. Maria says she's joining from the Netherlands, although she's What's that? Not.
She's now a New Yorker.
Oh, you're now in New York. Oh, okay. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Mariam says she's joining from Kano. Oh, that's a good spread.
Hi,
Okay.
Mariam.
Yeah. Hello. Elizabeth is joining from Ghana. Oh, nice. Thank you for joining us from Ghana, Elizabeth. Beef 2 is joining from Ethiopia. Oh, nice. Wow. I had a friend from Ethiopia. It's been a while I spoke to him. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it. We always love seeing all the people coming in. And as usual, we'll be having a three-way conversation. So my name is Dr. Amaka, and I'm the founder and lead coach of Scholar Up Mentoring Academy. And in a minute, I'll play a video to tell you what we do at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy. But I can tell you in two sentences, right? Because we just do two things. We do two major things at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy. The first one is to coach professionals who are trying to build a LinkedIn presence, right? They're trying to build a profitable LinkedIn brand to position their brands and their businesses for global opportunities. So we have our monthly programs, we have our one-on-one sessions, and then I think our monthly program, we just launched cohort 11 yesterday. Augusta, make some noise now. Yes, woo!
Woo!
Be excited now.
I'm excited.
So we launched cohort 11 yesterday. So that means we've been on it for 10 months and we just ushered in the 11th cohort yesterday. So we are so grateful for the success we've experienced with our program and all the transformation from the people who have passed through our program. And then the second thing we do is graduate mentoring. For me, I'm from Nigeria. In case you're wondering where my beautiful accent is from, it's Nigerian. Why are you laughing? Is my accent not beautiful? Is it like a
It's
D?
beautiful. Very beautiful. I love it.
So I actually mentor students who are also trying to do the same thing I did, which is come to the United States for graduate school. I came here to get my PhD. And then Augusta, who is my wing woman, my co-pilot, she mentors students who are trying to go to France for graduate school. She's also in graduate school in France. So these are like the two areas that we cover. For me in the US, for Augusta, Augusta is the expert in France, and she's really helped hundreds of people to go there. And it's always very exciting to have her here with me. So I'm going to pass it to you, Augusta, to introduce yourself briefly. Then we can play our 1 minute video and we can bring in our guests because I'm sure the people here, they're itching to have them on the show. So let's not delay them too much. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amaka. Thank you for being the brain behind this amazing academy slash community because it's really a community of professionals, of students who want to stand out. And I'm a medical doctor by training, not a PhD, at least not yet. I am also someone who has transitioned into education consulting. So I'm an education consultant. I do a lot of volunteering and I volunteer with Amaka Ifeduba at Scholar of Mentoring Academy. And I'm in love with developing Africa, expanding education access. So I do this through my work as Africa Development Officer at OM Business School, a top business school here in France. I'm very excited to listen and learn how to unstuck because I was recently stuck with my assignment because I'm a student as well. I was stuck in an assignment and I needed to unstuck myself to get time to come
How
and
to
join this
help you, Augusta?
event. So I need more unstucking and I'm looking forward to the conversations today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you very much for everything you do for us at Scholar of Mentoring Academy. I can't say it enough. We would not be able to make the progress we do if you were not doing all the work you were doing from the back end, right? There's a lot of things you do on the back end that make it possible for me to do the things I do from the front end. So thank you very much. I truly, truly appreciate that. So while you were talking, we had Chota join us from Zambia, and then Sua, oh, from Jos, Nigeria. Wow, do you know I was born and raised in Jos? I was in Jos just until a couple of years ago. It's so good to see somebody from the motherland. Just for me, it's like the motherland. Chijionu says she's joining from Abuja. She's joining from Abuja. Emeka says, I'm feeling unstuck. I'm glad to be here. I'm joining from the ends of Nigeria. Okay, all of you that are stuck, God will help us. Before the end of the conversation today, you will no longer be stuck. Kwai say he's joining from Afghanistan. Wow, that seems very far for me. It's so good. I think this is the first time I'm having somebody join from Afghanistan. The furthest have been Pakistan. I don't know if those two places are close. or if they are. But yeah, thank you for joining. We're excited to have you. Taiwo is also joining from Lagos. MJ is joining from Germany. I know where MJ is joining from. She said, congratulations on the launch of cohort 11. Thank you, MJ. I'm so excited that you're joining us here. Okay, and then Maria says, stocks describe the last 2 months. Don't worry, today is the day it ends. Make sure you stay active, you have your notepad, you're ready to learn. Before the end of this conversation, you would have been unstopped from where you were sticking, if that's the right English. Augusta, stop laughing. Deborah says she's joining from Osun. Okay, so we are going to get started. And then Mariam is saying, thank you, Dr. Augusta, for all you do. Yes, thank you, Mariam, for helping me. Thank Dr. Augusta. She does quite a lot. Dr. Belinda is joining us from Ghana. Clara is joining us from Dallas. Oh wow. I was just um I was just in Texas, so not long ago. I'm missing Texas, so this Mississippi, I don't know. God will help us. All right, I'm going to play a 1 minute video that just kind of tells us about Scholar of Mentoring Academy in brief, and then once I'm
Success
done with that,
begins with the right guidance
get
and
going with our
opportunities. And at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy, we are here to help you unlock your full potential. Whether you're preparing for graduate school applications or building a standout professional presence on LinkedIn, we provide the tools and support you need to thrive. Our programs are designed to help you craft a compelling personal brand, position yourself for global opportunities, and achieve your dreams. Led by Dr. Amaka Ifaduba, a dedicated mentor and coach, Scholar Up empowers you with personalized mentoring, actionable resources, and proven strategies to take bold steps toward a brighter future. Scholar Up Mentoring Academy is more than a program. It's a community dedicated to helping you succeed. Take the first step today and discover how we can guide you on your journey to greatness. Follow our page for updates and access all our resources at linktree.com/scholarupacademy. Your success story starts here.
Okay, that's Scholar of Mentoring Academy in brief. And now I'm going to bring in our speakers so that we can get going. And then I see Eaglet, who is joining us from Kenya. Wow, that's a good spread. Thank you so much for joining, Eagle. So now we'll get started with our conversation. Today we have Coach Uwem, who is joining us. He'll be introducing himself in a minute. And he's also joined by Kaba. So they are going to just give us a brief introduction. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you with us. Usually there is no dull moment here. We normally have a three-way conversation between me, you, Dr. Augusta here in the studio, and then with the people in the chat, because we always have a lot of active participation. People would drop their thoughts, they would ask questions, and we just have that conversation a three-way. So before I get going with the questions I've prepared for today, I'll just give you the opportunity to do a brief introduction of yourself, and then the same thing for Kaba, and then we can get going. So, Coach Wen, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. But just to confirm, can you hear me loud and clear? Superb. Thanks very much, Dr. Amaka and Dr. Augusta, for having me and Kaba here. My name is Uwem Umana. I'm from Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria. I currently live in Milton Keynes. I used to be an educational consultant, a teacher, an educator. I've worked in high schools, universities. I've led education reforms in the UK and in the UAE. And currently, I've migrated from the educational world into the IT world. I've been in the IT world for a couple of years now, basically IT consultancy. I'm a business analyst. I'm also a storyteller. I'm a writer. I am a life coach and a mindset coach. And that is me in a nutshell. My biggest burden in life is to make sure that people understand that they are equipped for life's journey. And what you need to do is to just get a hold on your mind, a grip on your mind, shift it. And once you shift your mind, like we say in Arabic colors, that's it. You are on your way to success. So over to Kaba.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for that, Uwem. Thank you, Dr. Amaka. And Dr. Augusta. Really appreciate for being on the your panel today and to speak to your tribe. I think for myself, I've been in technology and business for well over 20 years now. My background is mainly based on looking at it from an angle of how do I add value in whatever I'm doing. So, and I think in the session today, what we're looking at is to see, okay, people are stuck. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. And that's what we want to bring around is to make sure that people are aware that there is a way out.
Mhm.
So I'm here from a technology angle, from a business angle, and I've been coaching with Uwem for well over a decade now. So we've been doing this for a very long time. So
Mhm.
I think it's something that we're very passionate about.
Mhm.
And we just want to see how best we can be able to spread across and make sure that people can benefit from our experience that we have together. In a nutshell, I think that's a good place to start for now.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's so exciting to just hear your wealth of experience. I always like it to give people the opportunity to introduce themselves because it also gives the audience an idea of what they can get from the conversation, right? It's very important. The conversation of the mindset is one that is also very dear to my heart as a certified life coach myself. It's because it always begins and ends in the mind, truly. Whatever we go through in life, it all depends on how you decide to look at it. Either you're reacting or you're responding. So we are going to get started with our conversation. I see all the wonderful people that have joined us, but I would go back and forth from the chat to you like that. That's the way, just to make sure we are carrying everybody along. So, Coach Uwem, the first question I wanted to bring to you is from your experience, what is the most common reason that you see that people get stuck, either in their professional lives or their career, and you just people reach that point where it looks like they feel like they're not moving forward, like I'm just in this bubble. What do you think is the reason behind it?
Thank you very much, Doc, for that question. It is the mindset. That is the most basic reason. That is the most fundamental reason. This mindset of kind of feeling stuck could be due to so many factors. Factors like the circle you keep, your background, your upbringing, the messages you have received in the past, like you're no good, things like that. Not a good appraisal experience. If you're working somewhere and you do performance management, maybe you've not had a very positive feedback, or the person who has been managing you has not managed you rightly, or you've not had the opportunity to be in a circle of inspiring people. So this has a way of subconsciously being wired into your system to make you feel stuck, and people just can't seem to get out of it. So anytime they're about to take that leap of faith, if an opportunity presents itself, the first and most important thing you see is that they feel this sudden fright, that all the thing that was the experiences they've gone through in their life just comes in and presses in on them, and they cannot seem to liberate themselves, and they just chicken out or begin to befriend procrastination and unconsciously get stuck and can't seem to move forward. That is the basic reason.
Oh wow, yeah, I think I can relate to that. Yes, because I believe the feeling of being stuck is more kind of external, right? A lot of external things that has happened, if I'm hearing you correctly, and then somehow it seeps into your conscious and your unconscious mind, and you begin to believe things that are not even necessarily true. Okay, that would lead me to my next question. But before I ask you that question, I want to talk to my friends in the chat and say, please help us to repost this event, right? There could be people who are stuck all over LinkedIn streets, who are just kind of scrolling today, Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. They don't know what to do with their time. But by reposting this event, they may just see it and they want to come in and listen to this important conversation. So if you could do that for us, that would be very amazing. Just repost to invite as many people as possible. So while we do that, I also want to welcome Esther. Esther is joining us from London. Thank you for being here, Esther. Kemi is joining from the UK. We are excited to have you here. Dr. Phil is greeting his bosses in the house. I hope I'm part of your bosses, Dr. Phil. Susanna says, my coaches are here live. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm trying to see all the new people that have joined us. Charles is joining us from Cross River. Paul is joining from Bauchi. Grace is from Tanzania. Oh wow, that's a lot of countries. So Dr. Phil says, let's repost. Please, let's do it, right? Let's do it. This is very important conversation, and you don't know the number of people that struggle with all of this. And I believe that if they come in, even if it's for an hour, it's going to make a difference in their life. Okay, thank you very much. So from the answer you gave me, I just want to kind of delve in deeper. I want to kind of learn about you and your own personal journey, because I believe I always know that when people do things passionately, it always comes from personal experience. My life experience has taught me that most of the time, when you see people become passionate about something, just ask them about their own story. Probably something in their own moment, something in their life got them to that point where they reach that like a eureka moment, or like a moment where they suddenly feel like, oh wow, this is possible. Now I want to do it for other people. So that's what I want to learn about you. At what point in your life journey were you stuck? How did you manage to navigate it to bring about what you're doing now? Yeah, so that's what I want to know.
Wow, thanks very much for that, Doc, again. I got to be honest with you, I've had a couple of moments in my life where I felt stuck, but I'm going to just pick one profound moment that was like the eureka moment, if I may use that word.
Mhm.
Let me get back to when I studied geology many years ago in school, University of Calabar. I got chucked out after studying geology for about 4 years. And that was a hard fact to accept, that 4 years of your life would just go down the drain like that. And
Wow.
for those of us who are from Nigeria, you know that chucking you out of school is not exactly it's not one of the most pleasant experiences. You see what I'm saying? Because we come from a country where everything seems to revolve around education,
Mhm.
supposedly and rightly so. So when I got chucked out, I wanted to get another university to continue with my studies in geology, but things didn't just work out as I had intended.
Mhm.
And I lost out on 2 years. So 4 years in the school and 2 years trying to get myself back into the university. Now
Wow.
in Nigeria, you know that there's what we call the JAM, the mighty JAM, where you got to, it's the examinations board that you got to go and buy
You have a
a
lot of
form,
experience.
fill, and other kind of stuff. So it's so that was a big thing for me to accept the fact that it is real. I've got chalk that I've just chalk that is real.
Mhm.
So now when you want to go around in circles of thinking, let me try if I can get into this place, you try all the universities here and there, let me see if I know someone who can talk to somebody here, let me know if you just find out that it's all a waste of time. Every time I'm about to get in, something always kept happening, something always kept happening
Mhm.
that wouldn't make it materialize.
Mhm.
So what helped me break through that was embracing the fact that, listen, guy, you've been chopped out, you've been chopped out. Go back to square one, face the reality, and push on. End of story. So
Mhm.
that was that eureka moment for me. Okay, that this is past. You cannot rebuild what you have lost, except lessons learned.
Mhm.
Okay. However, you can rebuild what you have remaining. So the future was very bright. I saw myself, I'm a young bloke, you know what I'm saying? The future is still very bright for me. When accept this reality, go back, pick up go and get a new jam form, pick up your revision books, get yourself locked in a room, prepare non-stop for it, go write the exams, and hopefully you pass and get around to school. So this time around for me, I knew I had the canvas. I
Mhm.
knew I had the paintbrush. I
Mhm.
knew I had the colors. I will paint it with at my pace and in my space.
Mhm.
Geology to me was something that, okay, maybe because I was a core hacks science student before, but when I was a little child growing up, the first and most important thing I wanted to do was to be a drama teacher. So I said, oh, here is the opportunity you've been waiting for. Here is the chance for you to go back and do exactly what you've always wanted to do. So I took my paintbrush, I took the canvas and said, I am going to be in charge now. I am going to paint my life the way I want it now. And since that time, I've always known that in life, you can always press the restart button and start your life again.
Hmm. Yeah, that's deep. That's true. I think most of the time, once you reach that point where you have that mindset shift, it makes life. You begin to see life in seasons and in chapters. It's like if it didn't work, I just have to try something else, right? And then you begin to have more acceptance, and I think that really helps with the mindset. Yes, thank you very much for that answer. Kaba, do you have anything to add before I move forward to our friends? Looking at
Yeah, I
your face.
think it's very important, like you
Your face looked like
mentioned.
you wanted to say something.
Yes, yes. I think you mentioned around the mindset shift. And the key thing with a mindset shift, like in our program, we have a model called the growth model, which looks at growth, reality, the options available, the way forward, tracking and celebrating your progress, and the habits. Now, one of the key things here is the reality and the habit. It's a very important component because what that does, it helps you to identify your subconscious patterns or bias. And these are very key in your transformation. Now, because, for example, in my case, areas that I felt stuck. With me, I look at things from different angle. I'm a very logical person. So I'll look at things from an example and say, oh, okay, I have so many options. So what happens normally is I get stuck in terms of what decision do I need to make? Because it's very important the decisions we make. But what helped me usually is I always try to take a pause and reflect and ask a question. What is the outcome that I'm expecting out of this? And even if it doesn't work out, what is it? So that shifts everything for me usually. So it's very important for us to get that clarity in what we want to achieve. So whenever we get stuck, that's one way for us to be able to identify and say, okay, yeah, I need to get this clarity in a way forward. What's going to be the outcome out of it, rather than focusing on the output. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to
thank
put
you.
that in there.
That's a great one. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that input. Okay, that was really good. Yeah, and then we have my Bironke. My Bironke is saying hello, hello to you, Ma. I'm excited to have you here. And my elder brother, I adopted an elder brother from Augusta. He's joining us from UK. Sele, we see you. Thank you for being here. Augusta's elder brother. I've collected Augusta's elder brother. So we are sharing him now. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. And Paul says, I love the word education is key. Yeah, that's true. And then Mangoli is adding that thank you for sharing. This is so encouraging. Yeah, I'm happy you are encouraged. So you just need to bring out your writing pad and take as much note as possible and learn as much as you can. And he says change is constant. Clara says amazing. Thank you all very much for your conversations. It makes us feel less alone. Amazing insight, coaches. Good evening. Joining from Lagos. Reposted too. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. You know that this is also a networking event, right? If you're a very smart person, then you know that all the people, there are so many people in this event from all over the world. And I shout them out on purpose, just so you see that these are your own people. These are your tribe. You're all listening to the same thing. There's alignment there. So that's how you begin to network intentionally. You see people in the chat. These are people you want to connect with, people you want to collaborate with, people you want to do things with, because you already know that you are spending your time instead of watching TV or doing 101 other things, and you're sitting here, you are listening to discussions on mindset. That is some alignment there. Okay, I'm going to come to you, Augusta, after like 2 questions. Augusta does a very beautiful job of summarizing the points. Like I couldn't do it the way she does it. So I'm going to ask another 2 more questions, and then I'll go to Augusta to kind of give us a summary. Okay, so Coach Uwem, now I want to ask specifically how you help your clients, right? Because one thing I know is that most of the time people have these limiting beliefs. It's something that I've had to deal with myself at some stage in my life, where you truly believe that you cannot achieve something, like you truly believe it. So, and whatever you believe is your reality. That's the truth. Whatever you are saying to me, if I don't believe it, it's not reality for me. So how do you help people who really have those limiting beliefs that are holding them back, that they truly believe that I cannot achieve this or I cannot move forward in my life? What are some of the specific strategies that you use to ensure that these people can come out of it and then move forward?
Thanks very much, Doc, for that question again. I'm going to start off with a little quote. You cannot live above what you know in life. That's a fact. And Kaba did say something very important, which is clarity. The clarity of your outcomes. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel that you're not moving forward, we have to do the root cause analysis, okay? So your question now, how do we help our clients to identify the hidden limiting beliefs, okay? So we do that through a lot of tools that we have in our kits, okay? Now, the first and most important question is always, what do you want to achieve? Now, you find out that sometimes a lot of people don't even know what they want to achieve.
True.
They can tell you stuff from east to west, west to south, north to south, But what exactly, if you were to have a pinpoint focus, okay, what exactly do you want to achieve? They don't know what they want to achieve. So we start off with a self-assessment. This is key and very foundational. So questions like, do you have a clear-cut idea of what you want to be in life, what you want to achieve in life? If you have a clear-cut idea, what is that? Have you achieved it yet? If you haven't, we will dig into the root cause analysis and from there deal with the barriers that you have identified. Because if you have not been able to achieve that, there must be some reasons that you have not been able to achieve that. It could be internal, it could be external. So we have tool sets / frameworks that we use to help people unpack these barriers and confront them and dismantle them. For example, if you have if you feel like, okay, you want to be let's say, a successful athlete, why are you not a successful athlete? Is it that there are no opportunities for you to train? What do you have on ground already? Oh, I don't have a good sporting facilities, but in your backyard, in the street you live, there must be a road that you can go out to run. Let's say 5 a.m. when you don't have traffic, for example. There's got to be something you have somewhere to start with, which is the mindset. So it takes us back to the mindset. Why is it that you're not able to make that start or to navigate that pathway? What are those hidden limiting beliefs? It could be that you have been fed with lies. It could be that you've been fed with issues and barriers that you are not good, or the environment you find yourself is not very good. Maybe the circle of people you are hanging out with are people who are always professing negativity. It could be that you are not hanging out with people who see possibilities in stuff. Rather, they always see it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And unconsciously, your brain, your mind gets wired up with, oh, there are no opportunities. Whereas if you look around you, we used to have a saying in Nigeria that goes like this: what you are looking for in Sokoto State is in your Shokoto, which is a garment, a type of, you see, so it's possible. So that's what we do. We help our clients to look through those. We unravel, we look at it. And this is a process that, to be honest with you, can be quite daunting too, because all the people we work with, at the end of the day, they find out that they have been having so much unfaced issues that they didn't want to deal with. And they are dealing with it now, and they are facing it, and they are overcoming these barriers with a clear-cut strategy, and they are making success now.
All right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think you mentioned root cause analysis. That's a very important one, right? That's a very important strategy. I've had to talk with people. I remember a quick story that someone told me. So you have such a wonderful personal brand. I like how you're so confident. You're always posting. I was like, oh, thank you. Why don't you do the same? That was my first thought in my mind. And I asked her, I said, okay, you really admire this thing. What's stopping you? You have the phone, you have the internet, LinkedIn is free, you know. And she said, no, no, people are going to laugh at me. I was like, why would people laugh at you? So we started the whole root cause analysis. Why would people laugh at you? She said, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. Why do you think you make a lot of mistakes? It's like, oh, I don't really know a lot of things. I don't know. What am I going to be sharing? Why do you think you don't know a lot of things? And it's like, I was like, okay, that's the problem, because there's nothing stopping you from learning, right? You've not reached that point where you realize that the only thing that is between you and what you are trying to achieve is your willingness to kind of figure out the skill set and the way to overcome. So when you mentioned that story just flashed in my mind, because I realized that truly that is something people who make all the external excuses without kind of introspecting to figure out what is it am I telling myself that is keeping me stuck. Okay, thank you very much. That was very insightful. I think I saw a question in the chat. If you have a question, please feel free. I'm always looking at the chat. So if you see my eyes moving, it's because I'm trying to talk to everybody at the same time. I think Maria says, she says, what if one of the barriers is funds and the language of the country you are in? Oh, okay. So two barriers now. You don't have money. That's a big one, right? That's truly a big one. So a lot of things sometimes are easier said until when you begin to deal with that reality. The problem is you don't have money, and then you are in a country where you don't understand the language. That's a big one, really. Part of the things that I really am so impressed with people like Augusta that went to learn how to speak French and doing all her things. I hope I never have to do that. No, I really hope so. But that's a lot. Yeah. So please, could you answer that question that she has here? So she wants to understand if these are the barriers she's facing. So this time around, these are not internal barriers. These are more external barriers. How do you overcome them so that you can move forward? Thank you so much for that question, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. Kaba, you go for it, then we take it from there.
Yes, I think the key thing there that has been pointed out is that's an external barrier. And as part of our program, what we try and do is to, first of all, differentiate the type of barriers that we face, which is we have the internal barriers and we have external barriers. External barriers usually are things that you need to make sure you align with. For example, in this case, we're talking about language. Dr. Augusta went to France. So, first thing is for you to break that barrier, you have to make a choice, you have to make a decision that I want to break this barrier. So either be it language barrier, you decide to go to France to go and study. And I don't speak French, but other people have done it before. They don't have two heads, it's just one head. So if they've done it, took a year for them to study the language and they were able to then continue to do their education in the local language. So I think you just have to use that again, because once you learn the language, it becomes a strength for you now. So you become a bilingual person. So instead of just looking at it from an angle of limiting beliefs, you look at it from an angle of what is the outcome that I can get out of this. In essence, you're turning the negative to positive. Similarly, in terms of money, I always say in terms of business, people say I don't have money, that's why I'm not doing business. That's just an excuse. Money is not the answer to running a business. Once you have an idea, you have an execution plan, you can bring people together to make you money. You can use what is called other people's money, OPM model. So there are different ways you can approach it. So it depends on where you find yourself. But the key thing is start from what you have. Always start from that premise first. And then you can then say, okay, what can I add now? Where do I need people? That's where, like you mentioned earlier, you have to leverage your network, because your network is your net worth. So it's very important for you to leverage that network and then move away from a negative to a positive. So instead of it become a limiting belief, you turn it to something that is positive in your life. So these are ways we can look at it. Instead of it becoming a threat, it becomes now an opportunity that you can leverage. And that's part of our SWOT, personal SWOT model as well, that we use for people to be able to implement. These are some of the things that we can do in terms of addressing.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's really true. It's very important whenever we are facing barriers to identify, are they internal, are they in our mind, or are they really things that are outside of us? And then you have to begin to focus on the things you can control. Just as you said, start from where you are, speak from where you've been, use what you have, then you go from there. Thank you very much for that answer. I hope that was very helpful, Maria. Do you want to add something, Coach Uwem, before I pass it to Augusta?
Yeah. I could add something to what Kaba just said. Okay. And I'm going to add up in summing up in a quote. You will find out that I'm a man of quotes. I've got a lot of quotes of things.
Okay, yeah, I'll write it down. I like
it. Unrestrained hunger and thirst for success always makes a way. I'm going to repeat that. Unrestrained hunger and thirst for success will always make a way. Now, we are all human beings. We send out signals. We emanate signals via energy we give out, vibes we give out, the community we hang out with, the friends we keep, and things like that. So if you are sending out signals, okay, that I want to do this program, I want to study, I don't have funds, start from somewhere. How is it? Let people know. Information is so powerful. You'd never know what somebody has somewhere that could help you. Just a piece of information coming your way could turn your life around. We're not talking about money here, just a single piece of information that here is an opportunity here. Maybe you could work here and volunteer here, and in sort of bartering for that, you could have this opportunity. It could be that. But when you start limiting yourself by saying, oh, I don't have the funds, you keep that blockade, I don't have the funds, then already you're not hungry enough. So you're not hungry enough. If you're hungry enough, I'm telling you, there will be a way.
I agree. I truly agree with you. One thing I always tell the people that I coach, I always tell them that in life, most of the time, when you really want something, the universe has a way of conspiring to make you have it. I've seen that happen so many times that I believe it that is true. That if you're really so committed and you really want this thing, somehow things will line up. And like you said, energy has a way of attracting. That's very, very true. So it then goes back to the mindset. It goes back to the mindset. Okay, Mav Olaolu has a lot to say. He says, start from what you have, leverage your network, build connection if you need to with people who can move your vision forward. So apt, loving this so much, Sakaba. So he's kind of learning something from what you said. Thank you very much for saying that. The reason I love my network, when they come for events, they come ready. They are listening to you, they are taking what you're saying, they're trying to let you know that they heard it. Thank you very, very much for all of that. So, Dr. Augusta, could you, like in brief, just give us your thoughts on everything that has been discussed, and then we can jump on to the next question.
Thank you so much. It's been powerful. I've just been taking notes. So when you see me looking down, it's me taking notes. So I'm just gonna give like a summary for those people at the back who did not hear or who came late.
Mm-hmm.
So we started with like, what makes people stuck? The general consensus was that the feeling of being stuck stems from your past experiences, where you grow up, your family, the people you were with, what they told you, and that leads to limiting beliefs. And then when you have an experience that when you feel stuck and something bad happens and you're like, oh my God, this is the end, I can't move forward. You need to understand these things. You can't change the past. What has happened has happened. You can only rebuild, you cannot rebuild what you've lost, but you can build the future. You need to see setbacks as an opportunity to press the restart button and take charge of the paintbrush and paint your canvas. It's all to you. And then there's a key question you need to ask yourself. Sometimes things don't go up as planned, so don't focus on the outputs, but focus on the outcome. And how can you focus on the outcome if you don't even know what the outcome is? That's why you need to ask yourself these questions. It's called the root cause analysis. What do you want to achieve in life? Why aren't you achieving them? What do you have, and what can you do with what you have? And very important, this one is my best, is like, what kinds of people do you have around you and what are they saying to you?
Mm.
You need to be around Scholar Up Academy. The people are here. These are the people that you need to be listening to that will tell you can achieve whatever you want to achieve.
You really can, yeah.
And then finally, to break any barrier, it starts with making a choice. You just need to make a choice. Like that's defining moment where you decide, now I'm gonna stand up, dust myself up, and make that choice and move. Thank
Right.
you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Augusta. I see why I say Dr. Augusta is my wing woman. Before she finished talking, she's already reminding you. Thank you. That was such a beautiful summary. Thank you so much. Yes, and Olaolu is still repeating the quote. He said, unrestrained hunger and thirst for success will always make a way. That's so fire. Don't tell. Yep, 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 yep. I love the energy too. And then I really love that word. Even if there is no way, if you are hungry enough, you will make one. That's true. That's very, very true. Okay, Sele is saying the people at the back. Yeah, that's funny now. Some of you, we need to repeat. Repetition is the best way of learning, right? We have to make sure that the points are driven home. So people stop at excuses because they choose to stay in comfort. If you're hungry enough, you'll find a way. That is so, 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 so true. And Dr. Philip is saying, he says, so much value here. Loving the recap, Dr. Augusta. Okay, Augusta, take notes. All right, so let's get back to the conversation. Right now, I want to talk about full potential, right? There's always this thing, for me personally, I always feel like if you're not living your life at your full potential, then you are shortchanging yourself, and then you're even shortchanging the world. That's the way I see it. I believe that every human being, God has laid a vision in your heart. There's a solution that you are supposed to bring. And if you're not working in that, some other people are struggling because of you, because you've not decided to step into your potential so that you can help the people that you're supposed to help. So, but I would like to hear from you. How do you actually define full potential? And is it different for different people? And how do people really ensure that really they are living their life at their full potential?
Thank you very much for that question, Doc. Full potential is your inborn capability being fully explored and exploited. That's when you talk about full potential. I'm going to repeat that. It's your inborn capability being fully explored and exploited, not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of the people around you. Now, it is different for everyone. Okay. So the next question would be, how do you realize your full potential? And the answer is, first of all, do you know your potential before we talk about full potential? Okay. So in physics, if you put a ball down, yeah, at a position of rest, that thing you put down at a position of rest will remain at its position of rest until a action hits it to move it forward. Okay. So that is what we call potential energy. So it's got potential, a lot of energy, but if it is not exercised, if it's not kicked, it does not move. It lies there with the potential. So do you even realize the potentials you've got? And that's one of the things that makes Beyond Barriers stand out, because we've got tools that helps you to identify your potential. Because once you are able to identify your potentials, you are now going to be able to explore it and then exploit it fully, not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of the people around you. And that's why we're having this conversation right now. And one of the things we do is we do what we call a SWOT analysis, where you look at your strengths. When people come on the program, the first thing we talk about is, let's do a SWOT analysis. What is your strengths? And you find out that people start off with 5 strengths. And I said 6 strengths. And I said, no, even cooking is a strength. Even driving for long distances is a strength. Okay. Even being able to listen to other people talk without interrupting is a strength. Being able to build up relationship with people effortlessly is a strength. Starting off a conversation with people is a strength. Breaking ice with people is a strength. You see, walking up to people and just being nice to people is a strength. Serving people is a strength. So you find out that you have so many strengths that if you have not sat down reflectively to itemize them, you will not even know you've got those strengths. And if you don't know you have those strengths, how can you leverage them? How can you see what opportunities are in front of you with those strengths? You see what I'm saying? So that is the first and most important thing we do, to do that audit of what are your strengths. Because we have to start from, like Kaba said, so we have to start from what you have. We have to start from your strengths, not your weaknesses. Weaknesses are things you're going to improve upon. Okay. But the strength is where we start from. And based on that, we now leverage on that. And that is what is going to create the opportunities for you. It could be that you're talking about you don't have funds to do this, you don't have funds to do this. But if you look at the strength you have, it could be that you can be excellent in gardening. So in your neighborhood, you could go out to mow lawns for people and start earning income from there to start funding the big program you want to do. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. Yes, it's always about us. I think for me, if I should tie together what you've said, I think it's all about self-awareness. Now, most of the time, people are not self-aware. Most times, people don't even know themselves. It takes back to the ancient quote of Socrates, like "Man, know thyself." Right? I think that's the biggest thing you can do for
That's
yourself,
right.
is to really know yourself. That you reach a point and you understand yourself. That people don't have to tell you about your own self. And with that thing you spoke about strength, for me, that was my own turning point, recognizing that some of the things I used to discount as normal, until I began to realize that some of the things I did very easily, and in my mind, this is very easy, this is not stressful. And then people are looking at you and wondering, how are you doing this? And that became like a benchmark where you begin to look for those things in your life that you can do much more easier than other people. And people are looking at you and they're like, wow, how are you able to do this? How can you stay, how can you stay consistent? How can you keep doing what you're doing and not burn out? And you're like, this is just normal. This is real life for me, right? So I think that it's really very true that once we begin to reach that point of knowing ourselves, it helps us to draw from our strengths. Because I think sometimes people focus too much on their weaknesses, and that's an error. Because when you focus on your weaknesses, you're always struggling. You will never measure up to someone who that is their natural tendency of strength. For example, if you didn't know how to dance and you are struggling to do it every day, someone who is a natural at it, who is also very serious, would always be ahead of you. So that leveraging strength, I think it's really, really a big one. So, Kaba, do you want to add anything before I move forward?
Yes, I will just add something. I think you just mentioned someone that went to dance. Some people dance naturally. Other people, they have two left
Like
foot.
me, that's why I
You
said
can't
it.
change that.
I'm trying.
So there you go. Now, what's
Mhm.
important is people need to know their purpose. It's very, very important. Now, failing to know your purpose, it limits you from actually achieving your full potential. And you can't believe in someone else's life. So the idea of copying someone else is not part of achieving full potential. Like you mentioned, man, know thyself. Now, once you know your passion, what you're passionate about, and you are good at it, that becomes your purpose. What you are passionate about, and you are good at it in terms of proficiency, that blend together, it becomes your purpose in life. And most people go through life without even realizing what is their purpose of life. And it's sad. That's why some people say, there's a saying that the most valuable real estate is in the graveyard
Right.
because it's too late. That's why they call them, you are late. And most people never achieve their full potential. And sometimes full potential is not, it's not fixed. It's like you're planting a tree. When you plant a tree, at a point in time, it starts growing, it starts shooting off. For that moment, that's the full potential. But with time, it starts flowering. With time, it starts bearing fruits. So it's a season in itself. So it's progressive. What's important is you have to know, where am I at the moment? And then where do I need to get to? So it's very important for us to be able to channel that across. And it goes back to your saying again, man, know thyself. So that's a very, very powerful statement right there, Dr. Amaka.
I make a lot of
Thank you
powerful
very much.
statements, Kaba.
You can own it. You can take it from Socrates. You can own that.
Don't mind me. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a very important conversation, right? And then I think what I want us to get into now, which is very practical, right? This is for me, I always like it when people can speak from experience because as a coach myself, I've come to realize that most times in life, a lot of things are easier said than done. I think I was having that conversation with Augusta earlier. We were just chatting. Like a lot of things, anybody can say anything. It's very easy to say anything, but when you begin to translate that to real life, let's say in a situation where you feel like I'm doing everything I can and I'm just experiencing very slow or relatively no progress. Because sometimes in life you realize that most people don't understand the whole concept of foundation, like you're building down and it looks like there's no progress, but you're actually moving. But a lot of people get discouraged in that point. For me, being a personal branding coach, I see that a lot. People come on LinkedIn, they are trying to build a personal brand. They show up for like 1 month. It's like nobody is engaging with me. Nobody is, all the wonderful things I'm posting, and they give up on it. They throw their hands up and they say, "This is not for me. It's not working. There's something wrong." And some people never even get the courage to get back to it. And that's how you see people having so much unfinished projects. I started this, I gave it a little bit of time and I abandoned it. I didn't even give it enough time to blossom. So how do you coach people in your program? Because this is very practical, this is very real. These are issues that people face every day. I'm starting something, I had high expectations. I really was expecting that this was going to blow up. It didn't. Now I'm wondering, do I just throw in the towel and disappear? What should I do? So how do you really help people recover from that?
Thank you very much for that question, Doc. You see, again, we're going to go back to the foundation, which is, what do you want to achieve? You got to be clear. You have to have, and that is the first foundation module we carry. It's embedded in you. You have to have that clarity. Now, if you don't have that clarity, you cannot move forward. It's like you want to build a 20-story building, yeah? You see, if you've seen how they've built a 20-story building or a high-rise building, in the foundation stage, okay, they can spend about 1 year sorting the foundation out.
True. Yeah.
But once the foundation is sorted out,
Yeah.
they can add a floor every week. They
Mm-hmm.
can add a floor every week. But they will spend 1 to 2 years on the foundation because that is what is going to hold the frame, the structure together. They have to dig deep to a point where the subsoil is firm enough to carry the weight of the building. If not so, it's going to be a disaster. So in our program, what we do is we spend time digging into that yourself. And it is a life document. When once you begin to create that artifact, it's not something you close because it's not a one-day job. Like you said, it's not a one-day job. Okay, it's something that you're going to build upon throughout your life's journey. That's why the title of the program itself is called Beyond Barriers, A Journey to Transcendence, because it's going to transcend you through life's journey. But you have to have that foundation right of knowing yourself, knowing what you want to achieve, knowing what are your values. So apart from being able to know yourself, what are your value system? Because that is going to lead you to what we call non-negotiables, okay? There's what we call core value system. That's why sometimes you go to work in some places, you say, no, it's not for me. Some opportunities come your way, you say, no, it's not for me, because it conflicts with my value system. Even in personal relationships, somebody comes in and says, you say, no, it's not for me. That's not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? There are some things that will come, you'll embrace it because it aligns with your value. It aligns with your goals. It aligns with what you want to achieve in life, and you go in for it. And after that, the next thing is consistency. Okay? Consistency is one of it. Because like you said, life is not magical. Life is not magic. Life is process. What we do is we have tested, proven, evidence-based mechanisms, strategies that we use, that if you follow it consistently, you will get the result. Like you said, for example, someone comes into post for 1 month and disappears. It's not magic. You gotta hang in there. That's why they have that phrase, hang in there. It means just hang in there. And then you constantly have to review and reflect. Is there something you need to tweak? If there's something you need to tweak, okay, tweak it this way. Maybe you need to review your goals again, okay? Because times and seasons change in life, okay? Once upon a time, I'll give you a very simple example. Once upon a time, I wanted to become a professional photographer. I went and took my credit card and went to Leicester with my good friend and went and attended Jessup School of Photography. And I was so excited. I learned all the art. I got me a nice camera. And immediately after I had this certification from Jessup School of Photography, the next thing, boom. Everywhere, phones, everywhere, cameras, everywhere, everything. And you find out that just took me out of the market. So before you can see a successful photographer now, you must be top there. Because everybody has got fantastic mobile phones that does excellent photography now. You don't even go to, nobody goes to shop now to go and say, I'm going to buy a digital camera. Nobody does that. Because your phone is a fantastic equipment that takes photographs. You see what I'm saying? So you have to constantly reflect, review, reflect, review. Kaba will agree with me what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And because the thing is, everything is about the mindset. In our program, we talk about mindset, the tool set, and the skill set. Without the right mindset, even if you have the right skill set, the right tool set, you will still not progress.
That's
Or
right.
you will not progress to your full potential. Now, what mindset does is it helps you to be aware of possibilities, that the only limit you have is you yourself. And you don't have to have a perfect mindset. What you just need is to be aware that this is the mindset I need to be in, and be intentional of achieving that. So you have to be intentional in the decisions you make and the actions that you take. And that makes a huge difference. So if anybody can take one key takeaway, I would say from this today is to reshape or reframe your mindset.
Mhm.
Do that intentionally. Don't do it haphazardly, or we'll see what will happen. Do
Mm.
it by forming the right habit,
Mm.
and you see things will change for you drastically.
Right. I think you're right. I think the big one is the habit is like starting and then staying the course. I think
That's
that's
right.
for me that's been like the biggest thing I see with people. You know,
That's
sometimes
right.
people would say starting is the hardest and I say no, that's not true. If I talk to you for 5 minutes, I will motivate you to start anything. That's a given. It's very easy for someone to motivate you to start or for you to feel inspired by someone's success, for example. Usually that's enough trigger for most people. When
That's right.
somebody comes to say, I did this and I achieved this, it's enough trigger for people to just jump the bandwagon and start. But the problem is, are you going to stay the course when they go and get stuff? I think that's really where the challenge is. So let's see what our friends in the chat has been saying so they know we are still here with them. Dr. Philip says self-awareness. Coach Uwem always talks about socializing with your own self long enough to know what you've got. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. If you don't know yourself, I think you would really struggle a lot in this life, until you reach the point where you know yourself. Teresa said, whatever you can do effortlessly is your strength. That is true. Okay. You said you think there's echoing in the audio. Oh, okay. Is other people hearing echo or it's just you? We cannot hear it from here. Maybe let me know in the chat. Thank you, Clara. Just other people can let us know if our voices are echoing. We don't hear it here. Thank you. And then Paul says to see opportunities is to be focused like a potential energy. Okay. And then Ola Olu says, and after knowing your strengths, look out for solutions that your strengths can proffer to people, right? You wouldn't believe how much people will pay you for something you don't think worth anything, as long as it solves a problem. I think you're absolutely correct. You're very well. That's a deep one. That's very true. Sometimes the things we discard, when you know how much people are willing to pay for it, simply because it solves a problem, it makes all the difference. Isaac says, knowing the purpose driven life creates your potential. Okay, I think I understand you. Isaac is my father's name, so you are my father's namesake. It's good to have you here. Yeah, and then Paul is also saying always believe in yourself and make change for future development. Yes, I agree. And if he is also agreeing, say, man, know thyself. Yes, that's from Socrates. That's very important. And we have Esther. Esther says, that is the reality. Sometimes we are building the roots and we have no patience to enjoy the fruits or to see the flowers. I think, this is at the is central to everything, really. That most times people don't have that patience to build the foundation. That is very true. My Ibironke says, knowing your values help you sift what you can and cannot do. Yeah, this is a big one too. I think I was talking with Augusta today just about this. It's very important to know your values, right? So much in the chat. Thank you very much, everyone, for your input. Thank you so much.
Just a quick one there. Just a quick one, Doc. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick one. In one of the things, just talking about the point you raised earlier on, one of the modules we offer is called resilience.
Okay.
Because a lot of people come in, they get pumped up, they get started. Yay! Let's get started. Yay! And then maybe 2-3 weeks down the line, 1 month down the line, 2 months down the line, they don't see the results. They're like, that energy begins to fizzle out. It's not working. But you forget that some people, it takes them 3 years to build a system to get to see results. It's not, that's why I say it's not magic. So we have something we call resilience, where we arm you with the mindset, the tool set and the skill set of how to develop and sustain resilience in those moments when things are not going hunky-dory and ice creamy as you thought it would be.
I think I absolutely agree with you. It's something that I say often. I think I wrote I made a video recently. Yes, it was a video that was saying that resilience is a skill. Sometimes people think resilience is something you are born with, and a lot of people think you're born with it. It's either you're resilient or not resilient, but it's actually a skill you build like a muscle. The more you work it, the more you overcome. You reach a point where you begin to believe in yourself more. You begin to bet on yourself more. you begin to feel like it's just a process, If it takes me time, it takes me time, because the time is going to pass anyway. So it's better
Yeah.
you stay preparing, right? It's better you stay on course and you're preparing. Thank you very much. Dr. Augusta, you want to chime in here before we begin to wrap up? I think we have like 30 minutes left in our conversation. Wow, the time is going so fast. When the conversation is interesting, the time
Yeah.
just
Time
flies.
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, like, I think what I was going to Amaka today, like, at the end of this month, I'm going to be done with the first years of my Masters of Science. And there's this example you always give that we spend so much time trying to earn a degree. It takes, like, depending on what you study, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years to earn a degree. And just imagine after one semester, you're like, why don't I already have this degree? Where's my degree? I've spent 3 months, 4 months studying this course and I need my degree now. I'm supposed to have something to show for this. So I've been doing this master's and it's been really stressful, but I don't have the degree yet. It's almost 1 year.
You
So
have it.
you need to you need to give it time. If you don't wait for, you don't just do something and then tomorrow you have. And that's one thing I've seen on LinkedIn. I was telling Amaka that everybody on LinkedIn is giving advice. The person is hustling for gigs, is probably not even, like, hasn't gone to school yet, and they are just there giving you advice. Like, you need to advise yourself. Sorry, let me not debate. So I'm just going to give some summary of everything, for people who joined late again. You don't have money, right? Someone says, I don't have money, so I cannot achieve my dreams. But what we're learning here today is, what about other people's money?
Mm.
Hmm? What skill do you have that can make people give you the money? How can you put people together? I was telling somebody earlier today that one job I was doing before when I was in Nigeria is, I was working for a company, and I had a company that the company could not pay people directly. So what I had to do was create a company that could receive money from this company and get people to do the work that they need and pay them, and then I get a premium on top of it. So I could do a contract of 2 million and then get 200K just for linking two people together. I mean, there are so many ways you can make money, and this is, I think I'm very good at linking people together, and it's a business I'm hoping to explore later after my masters. Don't steal my idea, guys. So another another thing you can do is to leverage your network. And I think that's something we've been doing here, building something amazing here at Scholar Up Academy. Is really a network of professionals, of like-minded people, of people with purpose, people who want to discover their purpose. I mean, not everybody has discovered their purpose yet. It's a whole process. You start with what you know. Okay, I like talking. So I'm going to start talking. I like bringing people together. So I'm going to start bringing people together. And all of a sudden you realize that, okay, I want to bring people together for this particular reason, and this is what gives me joy. So next thing is, I am bringing this back. I forgot to say this earlier. Unrestrained hunger and thirst for success will always make a way. So if you want to get something done, you need to be hungry. If you're not getting it done, it's because you're not hungry.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
not hungry enough.
You're not
You're not
hungry
hungry
enough.
enough. You're just
Mm.
okay. You're not hungry enough. Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
then we talked about full potential. The definition was the inborn capacity being fully exploited and explored in the service of others. I think that was a key point for me. If
Mm.
you're just doing things for yourself, or I just want to have 100K followers, I just want to have money, and it's not really about the people, then maybe you're not really reaching your full potential.
Mm.
And then Amaka said something. Amaka always drops this point. When you focus on your weaknesses, you will always struggle. So
Mm.
it's important to focus on your strengths and build on them.
Mhm.
Then Kaba said, what you're passionate about and what you're good at becomes your purpose in life.
Mm.
And OM said, full potential isn't fixed. It progresses with times and seasons, just like when you plant something.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm going to stop here.
Thank you very much, Augusta. You see that most of the time, the reason why we bring out the points again is that the things just go by, and sometimes when you hear it together, it kind of solidifies in your mind. I'm a teacher, don't mind me. So because I teach, I come from a teaching experience, teaching in high school, teaching in the university, and now teaching in some sort of capacity. I know that repetition is the best way of learning. It's very important. The more you repeat things, the more you kind of internalize it and it becomes a part of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Augusta. That was a beautiful, beautiful summary. And then we have Beef 2. He says, you reminded me of the Chinese bamboo tree talking about foundation, it takes 3 to 5 years to grow its roots, but only weeks to reach its maximum length. Yes, this is always a great example that we use when you tell people about staying the course, like building the foundation, building deep instead of, most of the time I've seen that people want to build wide instead of deep. People want to just feel like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, but you're just a master of nothing. You've not mastered anything enough that your skill is standing out in that one area. And that's where you realize that people have a lot of dissatisfaction. So that will bring me to my next question, right? I want to talk about red flags. Red flags is a common word now. They say, what's the red flags you saw in a man and you don't get married to him? Or the red flags in a woman? So now let's talk about red flags in terms of mindset. So we're talking about red flags, right? So from your experience, because most of the time I've noticed that people are in denial. That's it. Like, you meet a lot of people that will not even want to open up. They'll rather pretend and go through the motion of life pretending. So what are some of those signs that someone is just settling? Sometimes you see people, they will say, oh, I'm not even interested in that. But deep down, they're just afraid. They're just afraid. They're just afraid of failure. They're afraid of somebody who pretend. They'll say, I'm not interested. Oh, is he? I'm not interested. It's just their own way of coping, right? So what are some of those red flags that someone is settling instead of soaring that you can help them discover? Because I guess these are part of the work that a coach does, that you can kind of pull it out of them and get them to confront that reality so that they can move forward.
Thanks very much again for this beautiful conversation and question you've just said. Thanks, Dr. Augusta, for the wrap-up you just did not too long ago. When you are in the same job, same position, same skill set you had 10 years ago, same comfort zone, you don't want to get out of your comfort zone. You've not traveled to anywhere. You're scared that if you travel there, you don't know anybody, how you're going to survive. Not embracing new technology. No, I don't want to do that. I'm not, I'm not tech savvy, until literally you get to a point that they squeeze you that if you don't do mobile banking, you cannot do any transaction anymore. Then you get forced into it. You will hide your PIN. You go and look for a vault in your house to hide just PIN when there could be a simple way of even dealing with it. Not reading on new advances in your domain area you find yourself, even if it is just reading one article to see what's new, what's going on. Let me find out what's the latest thing going on in my domain area. What's the latest technology? What's the latest research? What's it? Not applying new skills. Okay, you learn so much stuff. You're always learning stuff. You've never even applied 1/10 of what you've learned. Not solving existing problems. What problem have you solved? You're not solving any problem. You're always seeking what you've not applied anything to solve any problem. All around this problem, even in your own house, you cannot even troubleshoot and solve problems. You have to call people. That shows that you are settling. You're stuck. You're not innovative. You're not being resourceful. And then, sadly enough, you are settling for mediocrity. It means you are settling for a lesser version of your true self. These are some of the red flags.
That Kaba, you have anything to add to the,
I think that's a very good exhaustive list. I'll just add one to it. And for me, one good sign is when people stop setting goals. They just settle and they just manage expectation. They don't dream. They're like, yeah, maybe this is life. This is just how it is. That's not good. Always set new goals. When you wake up in the morning, look forward to something. Be a better version of yourself. You're not competing with the world. You're competing with yourself. Always make yourself the center point. How can I be a better version of myself today than yesterday? So imagine that your life today, they've already lived it yesterday. What would you do different? So ask yourself that question. That actually my day today, I've already lived it yesterday. What am I going to do different today? If people can only use that opportunity to reflect. Most of the time, people just go anyhow. People don't take time to reflect to see, how can I improve myself? How can I become a better version? Let's just ask ourselves questions,
Mm.
and then we can actually get the answer that will help us to soar, to grow beyond expectations. It's very, very important. So let's reflect and always ask ourselves the right questions.
Right. I think I agree with you. I think what you're speaking on is more like the Japanese concept of kaizen, which is like continuous improvement. It's just a
Yes.
mindset. You know, if
Yes.
you have that mindset that I'm always evolving, there should
Yes.
always be a better way of doing things.
That's
That's
correct.
just the mindset that there's really never any zenith in life, right? We never reach that point where it's like, I've arrived as long as you're alive. So if you have
No,
that mindset that how do I do it better? What processes can, how do I just get it to be better? I feel like having that kind of mindset, it just changes your life. It gives you
everything.
more to look forward to every day because now you are excited at whatever age you are. And then you realize that age is not a restriction for anything. It just
Mm.
doesn't restrict you. You keep thinking about new things. So thank you very much for sharing that wonderful, wonderful insights. Let me see what our friends are saying. Augusta, it looks like Marv said, you've shared your business idea. All he needs now is a business name. Now you're giving him an idea for a business. Oh, yeah. So then we see Chibike say, you might need to hear it about the fourth time before it clicks. You're right. Sometimes even 10 times, right? So that's why we have to keep repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
In whatever area of authority you have, you cannot say something once and assume that people have heard it. These days, people's attention span is less than 8 seconds, right? It's less than that of a goldfish. So you need to keep repeating yourself just to make sure that it sticks. And Viv to says, thank you very much for the conversation. It's really transformational. Yes, that's the next question I want to ask. I'm so happy you're already being transformed because I wanted to ask Coach Uwem, what is the one advice you will give someone who is starting this journey of transformation? And I'm very intentional with choosing my words because it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, and then, we already talked about the early excitement of starting, but you really want to advise this person that you're coaching to know that this is something you have to commit to. How do you guide them to make sure they don't fall off the bandwagon?
Thanks very much for that question. Again, see, I keep things very simple. There's a price to pay for everything in life.
Mm,
There's a price. Price is not necessarily money. There's a price
mm,
to pay. Commitment is a price.
mm,
If you're really hungry and thirsty enough for your transformation, then be ready to pay the price. The
mm,
price could be you deny yourself of some certain comfort for now. The price could be that instead of sleeping 8 hours, you might need to sleep maybe for just 7 hours and spend 1 hour in terms of just, denying yourself of that comfort to be able to get what you need to do done. It could be that you need to improve or reskill yourself. There's a price to pay. It could be that you need to break off from some certain friends, some certain network that's not adding any value to your life. There's a
mm,
price you got to pay. It could be that you need to seek coaches and mentors to lead your hand through the journey. It
mm,
could be that you need to
Yeah.
find people who have 110% confidence in you so that what you're hearing at every point in time is you're doing well, you can do it, I have faith in you. That
mm,
charges you up.
mm,
You gotta be ready to pay the price because we have all been equipped for life's journey.
mm,
All of us. And if you look at the giraffe, they've got long legs, and that is their weapon, that's their tool.
mm,
You look at the leopard, for example, they've got strong jaws and strong hind legs that when they kill their prey, they take it up the tree.
mm,
The lion differently, the eagle eyesight. Everybody has been equipped. Everybody has been equipped. But it is your responsibility to find out what have you been equipped with so
mm.
that you can explore it and exploit it for your own benefit and the benefit of those around you.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Thank you very much. Yes, that's very, very true. Kaba, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think what I'll add to that is sometimes people try to wait for things to be perfect.
Mm,
And as part of transformational journey, as much as you don't want to rush clarity, but you don't wait for it to be perfect either.
right.
Because it's one of the biggest trap that people find themselves in. They're waiting for that. I need to feel ready. I'm waiting for the full picture to be clear. Because the point is, as you move closer, you have to trust and believe in yourself. And you have to trust that clarity will meet you when you are in motion,
Mm,
not stay there overthinking it.
yeah.
It's very important for us to know that when it comes to transformation, it rewards with courage. You have
Mm,
to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You know, people keep on motivation. Motivation is great, but discipline conquer motivation anytime.
true, true. Yeah,
You
that's
have
my
to be
mantra.
disciplined. You have to be at that point whereby you know this needs to be done. It needs to be done. It's not the. It might just be to make sure that you take your account into perception, your financials in your business. You're going to university for 4 years.
Mm,
You don't know the outcome sometimes. You don't have the full clarity, but start from where you are. Start
right.
from what you have. And then you see with time, like you say, you evolve. And transformation is about evolving to
Mm.
become something, to become a better version. And it's not a one size fits all. And it's not a one-day solution. It's an ongoing, continuous process. So I just want to put that in there.
I think you're absolutely correct. You know, for me, what I always tell people is that I don't believe that purpose is something you discover. I think it's something you develop. That's how I see it. I believe it's like you said, the motion. It's while you are walking it, while you're doing it. If the first test is clear for you, then that's enough. Step on it and hope that you
Yep.
get more clarity as you go. So before I ask you the last question, I think we are 10 minutes to close down. Kind of, I'm going to give Augusta a chance to kind of give us like a 1 or 2 minutes wrap up of what we've just shared, and then I can ask you to kind of delve deep into explaining about your program and how people can reach you and all of those things. Yes. So, Dr. Augusta.
Wow, thank you so much. We don't want this to end, but everything has to that has a beginning must have an end. So I'll just take a summary again. And we talked about the importance of aligning what you do, the things that you do to your values. You don't say yes to everything. And when you find your values and you decide to take an action, you need to be consistent. And we spoke about the bamboo analogy of, the months and months it takes for it to grow and then how it just sprouts out. You see people, you said that overnight success, and we said there's nothing like overnight success. You don't
Right.
know the story behind what they've been doing
Mhm.
below the iceberg. And then it's a red flag when you think that you can't change. You're just comfortable where you are. You're lying to yourself. You need to
Mhm.
change and you can change. Every day when you wake up,
Mm.
you need to set a goal. There should be room for learning, room for growth, and
Mhm.
room for improvement. Everyone has been equipped to what it takes to succeed, but it's your responsibility to find your inborn potential to exploit and
Mhm.
explore it. Transformation is the reward of motion. You need to keep moving to experience it and start from what you have and
Mm.
go with what you have. And Amaka said, purpose is not something you discover, but
Mhm.
something you develop. Motivation is not enough. Discipline trumps motivation any day,
Thank you
anytime.
very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Augusta. Thank you. That was a good wrap up. Let's see what our friends are saying, and then we can get back to Coach Uwem and Kaba. Mav says learning is incomplete without implementation. That's very true. And some people spend their whole life learning. They go from course to course, from coach to coach, from degree to degree, never doing anything,
That's
never
right.
solving any problem. That becomes an excuse. Don't settle. Yes, that's very, very true. I think when you have enough drive, you become more resilient. That's true. Yes. So that's that inborn drive. And then my Ibironke says there's always something to learn. Yes, there's always something new to learn. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is long conversation. Amara says that's a very, very powerful red flag you just raised there, Coach Uwem. That point could be very easily missed, but it's very crucial. because it's not just okay not to grow. 5 years, 10 years, no progress, but many people are very comfortable. That's true, especially from our motherland, right? People just get a job in the state government and they do it for 35 years and retire, and that's their life. Really, you're very right. That's something we need to watch out for. So, Che, a lot of us settle for lesser version of ourselves without knowing it. We feel so safe in our comfort zone, thereby limiting ourselves and ending up blaming our environment and circumstances. It's time to leave that comfort zone. Thank you for that call. It's really, really time to leave the comfort zone. And then we have Clara. Clara says, getting the foundation right is key to growth. Yeah, even the Bible says it, right? If the foundation is faulty, there's nothing the righteous man can do, no matter how righteous he is. Once the foundation is faulty, you just have to go back and rebuild. Yep, Amara says, with growth and learner's mindset, there will always be progress and growth and improvement. I shouldn't be today where I was 5 or 10 years ago. Yes, you shouldn't be. That is right. So that's a lot of conversation. I see Kemi from the UK says, surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to accomplish. This is so important. You need the right motivation, right? It's very, very, very important. And Dr. Philip says, process over perfection. Yes, get moving. Clarity comes with motion. That is so, so true. And Esther says, ask yourself the right questions and find people who have 110% believe in you. Yes, I like that. People should believe in you. It helps. Thank you for having that confidence in me. Okay, Esther, I'm not sure if you're talking to Coach Uwem, but I say you are welcome on his behalf. All right. And then Ibironka says, there's a thin line between contentment and complacency. This is a very important conversation. This is true. Be careful not to cross it. That's true. A lot of times people excuse, I'm content, and they don't know they're just being complacent. You're just settling, but in their mind, oh, I'm just contented. I'm just a contented person. That's a very important point. Thank you very much for raising that, Ma. Okay, Coach Uwem, we are just a few minutes out. I know you have this your program, but you've talked about it in between conversation. I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of describe the structure for anyone who wants to come on board with your program. What should they expect? How do they reach out to you? How long is this program? Things like that, so that people know what kind of commitment is going to require them to come on board to really start this journey of transcendence, right? Transcendence, I remember.
Transcendence, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for that. Now, currently, we offer two kinds of packages, okay? We have a full-blown package, which is a 12 weeks transformative journey. Takes you end to end. You get immersed in the process. The full modules of right from understanding yourself, being self-aware, and the value system. We take you through the resilience, all of that to our USPs. We have some key USPs, okay? Like our growth mindset model that we developed is unique to us. And we have those things. We have key artifacts that you have to, in the process of the 12 weeks, deploy for yourself and maintain. And this will take you through life's journey. It's just something for yourself. And you keep updating it. It becomes a life document. You keep updating it. And then one of the key and most important projects you find out in our program is that you are that project. Yeah. You are the central theme of the project yourself. You're the biggest project. Okay. And then you will have to do a presentation midway towards the end of the program called All About Me. That is one of the highlights before graduation. Now, that's the first version, okay, of the program we offer. That's a fully immersive program. Then we have something that is similar, that is not a full version, it's a bridge version. That's like a boot camp, okay, which is growth in action. It's a comprehensive 6-week program that is designed for professionals, okay, with personal development experience who need practical strategies on how to overcome resistance and build sustained momentum. Okay, so that one is a 6-week program, and we start with a reality check. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, so the first week, then the second week, we deal with internal resistance, and from internal resistance, we move to external barriers. Then we move to resilience and reset, and then visible and valuable. That's the 5th week, and the last week is my way forward. And we have tools and resources that are at your disposal to use in navigating yourself after it. So in a nutshell, those are the two packages we offer at the moment. Now, whatever you want to go for is up to you. If you want to go for the 12 weeks immersive journey, it's up to you. You want to go for the 6 weeks journey, it's up to you. That's what we
Okay.
offer. And you always come out. Remember the key phrase, beyond barriers, a journey. It's a journey. It's not magic. It's not a miracle. It's a journey to transcendence. And Kaba can fill in the rest there of anything that needs to be filled in there, like details sent out and stuff like that.
Okay.
No, I think that's a very good summary there. And in terms of engagement, I think Dr. Amaka, you've done fantastic here with Dr. Augusta. What we want to bring across is you need to focus on the best version of yourself. And we're here to support you. Throughout the 12 weeks or 6 weeks, we're there for you. We want to make sure that you get the most out of your investment. Now, one of the things we try and push for is this, that if you are investing $1 with us, you must get $10 minimum in return. So if you're talking about return on investment, we're 10 times in your investment, whatever you put in. But like Uwem mentioned, there is a price to pay. So it's not one of those programs that you come, you relax, and you expect something to happen. No, you put a lot of work into it. You have to focus. You have to be disciplined. It's very consistent, very, very, very intense. But at the end of the day, you get the results. There's a lot of testimonials out there, and we're happy to share some maybe under this video so people can see and people can then contact us as well. But this has been good. We really appreciate it. It's been fantastic.
It's been such wonderful conversations. Yeah, it's. I think something both of you missed out is how do people reach you? What's the best way to connect with you?
So we're on LinkedIn. We
Okay.
love to network. So
Okay.
please connect with us.
So
Follow
these are
us.
the LinkedIn names, the way you have it on the screen.
Same names
Yes.
Okay.
on
All right.
LinkedIn as well. And we have an email address, which is let's talk. We'll put it as well under this video. Let's talk at eymbox.com so people can engage with us as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. It's been.
Can we put the address there? Let's talk at eymbox.com.
Yes,
So
sure.
people can
Just
see
say,
it.
I'll type it. You said
Okay,
let's talk at what?
EYMbox.
You
EYMbox. So
EY.
EYMbox is short for Enrich Your Mind, Body of Excellence.
Oh, okay. I hope I'm spelling it right. If I'm not, you can tell me. But let's see. I'm going to show what I wrote. Is that right?
That's fantastic. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's nice. So that's the email address, but LinkedIn is also a great place to connect with
Yes.
people, right? Reach out, send a message. If you heard all of this for free, you can imagine what a full immersive experience of going through the program can do for you. Something that I've come to find myself, being African of Nigerian descent, is that most of the time, those of us from Africa, we don't value coaching a lot. Sometimes that's why you see people really stay in that stuck place of not reaching full potential. You want to take 5 years to figure something out on your own when somebody would probably help you and you get it done in 3 months or 6 months. So it's a mindset shift that when we begin to have, it really helps you to move forward. So thank you very much for coming to grace our stage. It's been such a wonderful conversation. Let me see what our friends are saying in the chat. Dr. Foster says, once you have a glimmer of clarity, make the move. Don't always wait for the perfect time. That is true. Thank you, Dr. Foster. And then we have Maria. She said, great community of folks. Happy to found you. We are happy to be found. Let's all connect and support one another. I totally agree with you. We always have a lot of events. We always, if we're not having events on Saturdays, it's on a Sunday, and it's usually around this time. So stay connected, look out for our events. It's always power packed, bring a lot of experts to come and discuss important topics. Chijionu says discipline conquers motivation. Yes, you are absolutely correct. And then Immaculate says the platform is highly helpful. Okay, that's good. And then Chiamaka, who is my namesake, said she has gained a lot. Thank you very much, mentors. Chiamaka, we're very happy that you are here. And Dr. Phillips says this was powerful. Indeed, it was powerful. Thank you so much for the conversation. I guess what I'm going to ask of you all before we leave is to, you've been here. It's a free conversation. Nobody has charged you to be here. The least you can do for us is to kind of put your knowledge together, right? Summarize it and write a post about it. Tag the speakers, tag the host, tag us. It's a way for us to see, at least you're sharing your knowledge with other people. Most of the time when people come on LinkedIn and say they don't know what to post, I said share other people's knowledge. That's a good place to start. The
Yeah.
people always feel a lot of pressure because they want to come and be the experts themselves, and they just feel like, I don't have anything to say. I say no, you can really be a curator of good knowledge. You can be that person that brings value to your network. Oh,
That's
I
right.
was at this event, I attended this conference or this summit. This is what I learned, and you share it. So that's the least you can do for us. Tag us, share the event, and that would be really, really great. So before we go, I would ask again, Kaba, any final words? Uwem, any final words? Final words from Augusta, and we'll be out of here. 30 seconds to 1 minute. Final words.
Okay, I'll go. It's been fantastic. And thank you all for joining this call. We're here to support you. We're here to work with you. All of us as well on this call, we are also on our own personal journey. We are also in the journey to transcendence. We are not at that point yet. There is so much more we have to offer in society, in life. And all I want to say is thank you and God bless you.
You're welcome. Coach Uwem, final words, 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amaka. Thank you so much, Dr. Augusta, for having us on this platform. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the call. And I just want to leave you with these words. We have all been equipped for life's journey. It is your responsibility to find out the tool set you have been equipped with to explore it, exploit it for your benefit and the benefit of the people around you. Thank you.
The word. Dr. Gusta, what's your final word?
Okay, my final word, I'm very big on people. So you need to be careful about the people you surround yourself with because they can really make or mar you. And on this note, I'm inviting you to join Scholar Up Mentoring Academy because we have the people who always bring the best, bring the best out of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the guest. I really
It's been
enjoyed
a
the
wonderful
conversation.
conversation. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. And as usual, we have another event next week, Saturday. Please be on the lookout. I think I'll create the event by tomorrow, and then we'll have a conversation about personal branding and public speaking. It's going to be a powerful conversation, and you are all invited. So I'm going to close out by playing our video, just a way to close out our conversation. Thank you so much for
Success
being here.
begins with the right guidance and opportunities. And at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy, we are here to help you unlock your full potential. Whether you're preparing for graduate school applications or building a standout professional presence on LinkedIn, we provide the tools and support you need to thrive. Our programs are designed to help you craft a compelling personal brand, position yourself for global opportunities, and achieve your dreams. Led by Dr. Amaka Ifaduba, a dedicated mentor and coach, Scholar Up empowers you with personalized mentoring, actionable resources, and proven strategies to take bold steps toward a brighter future. Scholar Up Mentoring Academy is more than a program. It's a community dedicated to helping you succeed. Take the first step today and discover how we can guide you on your journey to greatness. Follow our page for updates and access all our resources at linktree.com/scholarupacademy. Your success story starts here.
Okay, bye everyone. Have a pleasant rest of your Sunday. I'm gonna end now. Can we say bye?
Bye.